you all are done well. Okay. See children, we are learning about ancient civilizations, the river valley civilizations. Okay. In the previous class, we have learned about three major river valley civilizations, that is Mesopotamian civilization, Egyptian civilization, and also we have learned the Indus Valley civilization. Okay. Today we are going to learn another important river valley civilization, and also it is very important urban civilization like Indus Valley civilization. Okay. It is known as the Chinese civilization. Okay.
A potent expression of continuity and sophistication of China's ancient civilization. Work began on the Great Wall of China around 220 BC. It was the creation of the first emperor, Qin Shi Huangdi. The wall is a tremendous piece of military engineering. It blends into the landscape, snaking through valleys and over mountains for mile after mile. It would have been extraordinarily difficult to build, and shows the incredible will and determination of the ancient Chinese civilization. To conceive of this and be able to construct such extensive defenses almost defies belief. The Great Wall winds its way across China from the Gobi Desert in the northwest to the Bohe Sea northeast of Beijing. That's a distance of over 4,000 miles. It's said that 300,000 men were harnessed to make this wall, and many died, their bodies mixed into the clay of the bricks, the very bricks that still make up much of the original wall. For that reason, it's called the Wall of Tears, the longest graveyard in the world. The human sacrifice was great, but so was the will of the emperors that had it built. For centuries, the wall was all that stood between China and its most feared enemies, barbarians, Mongols, and nomadic tribesmen. The Great Wall exceeds the expectations of those that visit it today, and more than fulfilled its purpose in antiquity. The scale is epic, and to the barbarians on the other side, it must have seemed insurpassable.
And Chinese civilization also is important river valley civilization which is originated along the river valleys. Okay. And when we see China, you know many things about China, is it? It is the world's populous country in the world, and it is the broad country. Okay. When we take China, China is one of the Asian countries, okay, which is located above in the north of India. So China has its borders in the north, the Great Wall of China, and in the south it is bordered to India, or we have the Himalayan mount, and in the east Pacific Ocean, and in the west broad the Salt Sand Mountains. So this is the borders. Okay. And when we see China, China also has two important rivers. One is Havango River, and other one is Yangtze River. So today we are going to learn about the location, origin, and important characteristics about town planning. Okay. So when we learn location, I already told it is situated in the north of India. Okay, it is situated in the north of India. And when we see its borders, what are its borders? In the east, Pacific Ocean. In the west, broad mountains and desert. And in the north, the Great Wall of China. And in the south, are its borders. In the east, Pacific Ocean, in the west, broad mountains and deserts, and in the north, Great Wall of China, and also in the south, Himalayan mountains. These are its borders. And when we see, I said there are two important rivers. What are the two important rivers? One is Hawango and other one is Yangtze River. Okay, what are the two important rivers? Hawango River and Yangtze River. Okay, so these are two important rivers which flow through China, okay, which made the great Chinese civilization possible in China. When we see China, we have seen these are two important rivers, is it? And these rivers, river Hawango is often called the sorrow of China. Why we called Hawango river as the sorrow of China? Because this river caused flood, okay, and this river changed its course of direction, which affect the crops and other things in China. That's why it is called sorrow of China. Okay, when the river floods, this river look like yellow color. Okay, so this river also otherwise called as Yellow River. Okay, what is Hawango River otherwise known as Yellow River? Why? Because of the yellow color, yellow in appearance. Okay, and when we see what are the possibilities that take place, what are the possibilities for the Chinese civilization in China? When we see the possibilities, there are various things like fertile soil, temperature, climate, water supply, okay, from these rivers that made, or these are the ideal conditions that made possible for the civilization in China. Okay, and when we see there are different dynasties which came up and it got distracted, okay, and the Shang dynasty was the oldest dynasty which appeared or which originated in China, okay, which is the oldest dynasty. Shang dynasty, okay, it is the oldest dynasty. Shang dynasty, and the next one is Zhou dynasty, okay, Zhou dynasty. There are different dynasties originated in China. Among that, Shang dynasty was the oldest dynasty. And when we see China, Zhou or Shangzhou is the oldest city or ancient city which was constructed during Zhou dynasty, okay, which was the city that established or built during the Zhou dynasty, Shangzhou dynasty, okay, Shangzhou city. It is the important ancient city which was constructed during the period of Zhou dynasty. Okay, and when we see these things, I said the fertile soil, temperature, climate, water supply, that all ideal conditions made possible to originate or to form the civilization along the river valleys in China. And what is the period of this civilization? This civilization originated around 4,500 years ago. Okay, when the Indus Valley civilization originated, this also almost contemporary to the Indus Valley civilization. This civilization also originated around 4,500 years back. Okay, and when this civilization originated during the period of Bronze Age. Okay, when was this civilization originated? This civilization was originated during the Bronze Age, and it was extended till the last or later part of the Neolithic Age, when the Iron Age started. Okay, so it was from the beginning or the end of Bronze Age till the beginning of Iron Age. So this transition between Iron Age and or Bronze Age and Iron Age, okay, it extended till the later part of Neolithic Age. And when we see this civilization, what are the characteristics of this civilization? There are different characteristics are there. Okay, the first characteristics of this civilization was town planning. Okay, town planning was the main form or main part of the civilization. I already told this civilization also was one of the urban civilization. Okay, it was one of the urban civilization. Okay, originated along the river Hanki. Okay, Hanki, or it is known as Avanko. Okay, what is the name of the river? Hanki. Or this river is otherwise known as Havanko. Okay, it is the urban civilization. And when we see this civilization, how is the town planning was done during this Chinese civilization? Okay, when we see this Chinese civilization, Chinese also constructed a urban civilization. Okay, the town planning was made in a form of traditional layouts, or they followed the traditional rule for layouts. Okay, which is related to religious and the scientific manner. Okay, they both followed the religious way of construction and the scientific way of construction. What is this religious way of construction? For example, Fuji. Okay, Fuji is one of their religion. Okay, the method of architecture found in China. Okay, and when we say scientific method, they followed the astronomical calculations to construct the buildings. And when we see this town planning, they also constructed different cities. I already told Chengshou city was the ancient city constructed during this Zhou dynasty. Okay, and how was this city constructed? Okay, when we see this city, the city was constructed in a square form of layout. Okay, and this square was further divided into 9 squares. And how was the roads constructed? When we see the roads, it went along north-south direction. Okay, and this north-south direction roads, they intersect to form a grid. Okay, so they also constructed the road in the pattern same which is found in the Indus Valley civilization. These roads further connected with the roads that run in east-west direction. So it form a grid. And when we see in the rectangular shaped borders, okay, there was different kinds of buildings constructed along the roads, like palaces, houses, markets, temples. Okay, these were constructed in the rectangular blocks. And when we see this town planning, we can segregate this town planning into two parts. Okay, one is inner city and other one is outer city. Okay, and also audience hall. Okay, and when we see inner city where we can find palaces and all the government buildings. Okay, these are found in the inner city. And not only that, there are also markets, schools and different other buildings which is related to this palaces or which satisfy the needs of the people in the inner city. And when we see outer city is constructed around the inner city. Okay, and in every layout or in every outer city there was moats constructed around the outer city. Okay, this is the importance of town planning. Okay, so what is the importance of town planning? Okay, when we see Chinese civilization, it is also one of the urban civilization. Okay, why it is called urban civilization? Because it is also one of the well-developed civilization which is originated 4,500 years ago in China. And along the river Huanghe, this Chinese civilization was developed. And when we see the town planning, they constructed the buildings both based on this traditional method or religious method and scientific method. And what is the motivation of this town planning? To create a harmony or favorable condition that would bring harmony and peace within the people, within the humans and the heaven and earth. Okay, so their main motive is to bring harmony among the people and to relate the people with the religious matters. That was the important thing why this people gave importance for this town planning, that is related to the religion. Okay, so here we end the class today with this. Okay, I will repeat the class once again. Okay, first of all we have seen the location. Okay, China is one of the Asian countries, okay, which is located in the north of India. So Pacific Ocean in the east, broad mountain and deserts in the west, Great China Wall in the north, and Himalaya mountain in the south are its borders. Two important rivers that flow in China, that is Huanghe and Yangtze River. Huanghe River is otherwise known as Yellow River, or it is also known as Sorrow of China. Why? Because it changed its course of direction that caused a lot of damage to crops and the country, which affected the people. That's why it is known as Sorrow of China. Okay, and the important city that is constructed during Zhou dynasty was Shenzhou. Okay, and how is the town planning? How was the town planning? The towns and cities were constructed in a rectangular manner. Okay, the grid system, the grid pattern also followed here. Okay, the broad roads run parallel to each other. Okay, in the rectangle, these roads intersect each other in a rectangle which connect with the other roads that run in east-west direction. Okay, and when we see the city, there are inner city, outer city and audience hall was there. In the inner city, important buildings were like government buildings, palaces were there, and also markets, temples were also there in the inner city. Outer city was constructed in the border of the inner city, out of inner city. In every layout there was a moats, okay, which is constructed around the outer city. Here we end the class. Read the textbook till town planning. We will meet in the next class with the same lesson. Thank you, children.